Joining me now, Ritesh Kotak, tech and cybersecurity analyst. The question everybody has, Ritesh, is how exactly did they recover this video that was previously inaccessible?
So we're probably going to find out if there's criminal charges laid. They identify the person and potentially through disclosure. But most likely, what happened here is even though these cameras might have been disconnected, they're always recording and uploading most likely images and video to the cloud, the Nest cloud in particular. So what happens is once those images are there, they're essentially saved on what we call like an offsite server. And the FBI most likely did what's called a preservation request, so asking Nest to preserve the data, and then some sort of production order saying, can you produce whatever videos or images that you have to us? And through digital forensics, it seems that they were able to recover video that may have still been saved but not yet deleted because they're able to retain that data at the server level. That's most likely what happened here.
So previously, police from Pima County in the Tucson area of Arizona said they couldn't recover this footage because apparently Nancy Guthrie didn't have a subscription to this doorbell camera, possibly a Nest camera, for example. If you don't pay for the subscription, then you can't store the footage. You don't have the footage. FBI Director Kash Patel came out today saying they got residual data. So is that what you're talking about? They went to the company and said, we need the data that you may have stored somewhere?
Sometimes that's exactly it. Sometimes what happens is these organizations, they will still preserve the data for up until 24 hours or a certain amount of time. And there's commercial benefit to it. So for example, if I all of a sudden decide if there's a break and enter or something happens where I need that footage and I go and buy the subscription at that moment, maybe it's already been retained for a certain amount of time so I can get that data. That's probably the case, that the data was continuously being recorded and retained and then deleted after a certain amount of time. But probably, like, chances are, the second they realized that there was a potential digital doorbell camera there, the FBI probably sent in what's called a preservation request to Nest saying, preserve any and all digital data that you may have with respect to this particular camera while we go and get judicial authorization to retrieve it where our forensic analysts could take a look at it. So that's probably what happened, where the video was continuously being recorded and uploaded and hadn't yet been deleted.
What are the chances there's another doorbell camera, do you think, on this street in the Tucson area that could capture something else relevant to this investigation?
I think it's highly likely that there's additional video that may be available. Now, probably what's happened is law enforcement has gone and done door knocks at all the houses, asked them if there was any cameras that are available. There may already be in possession of certain digital evidence as well. There might be CCTV. There might be automated license plate readers. The list goes on and on. We are living in this digital age where just about everyone has a camera. It's really cheap to put in a camera. You can put in wireless cameras, battery-operated cameras. Not everything has to be hardwired. So I think there's a very strong possibility that other elements may have been captured on other cameras that either the FBI is in possession of currently or or should be in possession of relatively soon if they've already served the appropriate judicial requests.
Ritesh, I assume that you've seen the images and the video that has come out just within the last hour or so from this doorbell camera. The person is masked. There's not a ton to make out. How useful do you think this footage will be?
I think it's actually going to be quite useful. And sometimes the easiest way to think about this is it's one big puzzle, and this is another piece of that puzzle. You may not have all the pieces, but you could potentially figure out what the image is. And there's certain clues that are available. For example, you can guesstimate what the individual's height is, what their build is, what their race is, what their gender is, potentially if there's any facial hair. And then when you start getting other videos and piecing it together, you may be able to figure out who or identify who the individual may be or narrow down your search. So I think that even if it's a little snapshot, it's very important. That's why it's highly encouraged if anyone has any video to reach out to the FBI and give it to them, no matter how small the evidence is. It might be that missing piece that puts it together so investigators can figure out what the picture is.
And to your point on facial hair, already we've seen police come out online saying that they believe they might see the indication of a mustache. So that would say, okay, we know the gender in this case. areas, which previously we didn't know. So there are clues emerging from this really critical video that has been released today. Ritesh, we appreciate your insights and your time on this. Ritesh Kotak, tech and cybersecurity analyst.
Thank you for having me.